Capital Combat. The name says it all. I'm Hakeem Branch, and today we're going to talk about this weekend's 140-pound title fight on pay-per-view featuring Gervonta Tank Davis versus Mario El Azteca Barrios. Now, I said it's a title fight. However, we know the politics of the WBA. Barrios has a belt, but the undisputed champ is Josh Taylor. Don't let that get in the way of a very interesting fight. Without the belt being involved, this is a very intriguing fight because you got Gervonta Davis, who is coming up from 135 pounds. He has campaigned at featherweight, super featherweight, and lightweight. And Barrios, who has been a career-long welterweight, junior welterweight. So we got a lot of dynamics here at play. We got two very capable, stylish, exciting fighters that are going to be throwing down this Saturday. Also, on the undercard, another very intriguing fight is going to be Jeison Rosario versus Erickson Lubin in the 154-pound weight class. Both guys are contenders in that weight class. Both have had recent setbacks. Lubin a little bit farther back against Jermell Charlo. Lost to Jermell Charlo. Also Rosario also lost to Jermell Charlo. Both guys lost to him by knockout. However, they're both still in the title picture because of their skill and like how packed the weight class is. So let's start off with that one. Like I said, both guys are looking to get back into the title picture. This is Rosario's first fight since losing to Jermell Charlo. And Lubin has put together about 3 or 4 fights. Let me count this real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 actually. He's fought 5 times since he lost by knockout. And that was a first round knockout to Jermell Charlo. One that was kind of shocking because that was a fight that a lot of people were looking forward to being a really good fight and being a really possibly close fight before you get hit with one of those punches you don't see. A lot of you hear that before, and if you have ever fought before and actually taken a punch before, you know that is actually true. So with this one, I'm not really sure which way to go. Both guys are very skilled. Rosario does a lot of good work from distance. He has a good motor, and especially like in that fight against Julian Williams, a fight that he was kind of brought in as a showcase guy, like a solid guy who was, brought in to, make Williams look even better because he was so good, and ended up upsetting the apple cart, beating him. We got another guy in Lubin who had the same upward trajectory going into that Charlo fight. And because of the person he lost to, he didn't lose a lot of momentum because Charlo was the top guy in the division and is still seen it in that way. So it wasn't like a big letdown to lose to that top guy, but he wants to get back in a spot to challenge him again. So both guys are going to be hungry. Both guys know what's on the line. And Lubin definitely is the more powerful of the two. I think he has gotten some good experience fighting some boxers, guys that move, guys that like to set traps, something that Rosario likes to do as well. And I think that will help him. I'm going to go towards Lubin. Now, for the main event, we got a lot of questions. Now, Rob and I talked about this fight pretty extensively in the last couple days and weeks, especially last couple days as we were getting ready to shoot this video. He had some engagements that he couldn't get away from, so we were going to shoot this one together, but you get me speaking his thoughts as well. So here we go. But Rob is going to have a video on the Vasily Lomachenko fight that's also going down this Saturday on ESPN. So be on the lookout for that. And if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can get that video as well. Also, our recap videos of what happened in the fight as opposed to what we thought was going to happen during the fight. So I know you're going to like the information that we talk about. So like I said, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon so you can be alerted to when we upload our videos. So in Davis, we have a guy who is very short, especially for coming up into these weight classes where he's going to be fighting much bigger men like Mario Barrios. He's about 5'5", so he's giving up about 4.5 inches and about 3.5 to 4 inches in reach against Barrios. Now, in the past, he has shown that, that's not really a difference because most of the guys that he fights are taller than him, even in the lower divisions. He's definitely a shorter guy in those divisions. He's fought in taller guys like Pedraza, Santa Cruz, quite a few others. But I like to categorize Davis as a aggressive counterpuncher. And what I mean by that is he's a southpaw, so he comes forward in the southpaw stance, but not like a typical pressure fighter where he's trying to, get to the body, break you down with maybe volumes of punches and things like that. More like a Gennady Golovkin or Antonio Margarito, Leo Santa Cruz, guys like that. What Davis does is he comes forward, and as you go to fend him off with your jab, so if you're left hand, you're throwing your jab, he's countering off the shots that you're throwing to keep him off of you. And he is very quick. He has excellent straight punches. Keep that in mind because that's going to be a factor as I break this down later. But very quick, that counter left uppercut is something that a lot of people have been on the wrong end of, most notably Leo Santa Cruz in his last fight. So he's going to come forward. He's going to use those straight punches to the body, the jab. That's very quick, very effective when he uses it. But he's really looking to counter you with those hooks and uppercuts, especially that left uppercut. So what he's going to have to do is get in between those shots of Barrios, who is a very technically sound guy in his own right, and land those punches. Now, being that Barrios is someone who has campaigned higher than all of the previous guys that Davis has fought, whether or not that power is going to translate is one of those questions. Now, we saw that he was able to score a vicious knockout at 135 against Santa Cruz, but you also want to keep in mind that Santa Cruz started out lower as a professional than Davis did and rose up into those divisions. So those two guys fighting at 135 who have both been at previously lower weight classes. This is a guy coming up to fight a naturally bigger man. And usually when they say when the skills are equal, the bigger man wins. If you all are familiar with mixed martial arts, that just happened with Israel Adesanya and Jan Blachowicz, where you had a guy who had a lot of skill, and then you had a guy with even skill who was much bigger, and he was able to, get the victory. It happened to Kell Brook. It happened to Amir Khan. There are several examples of smaller guys moving up and not being successful. But there's also several examples of smaller guys moving up and being very successful. Most notably, somebody who's going to be stepping in the ring again and keeping that narrative going in Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao. But back to Davis. He's going to have to, close that distance. He's going to have to use, he's got exceptional footwork, so he's going to have to use that to keep Barrios in range and not being turned constantly. So I'm going to flip over to Barrios because Mario Barrios is a very excellent boxer in his own right. He has those long punches. He can loop them around as well. He has a lot of power, and he usually can get guys as they come in with his counter shots. He is really good at shifting his feet just a couple inches back, so the person who's trying to attack him misses, and he can shoot over a right hand or a left hook and counter his opponent. So Barrios has also shown that he can box well in spurts, which he's going to have to be able to do here. Even though he's the bigger man, I don't think you want to engage in a firefight with Davis. You don't want to test that power. I don't think it's a good idea to do so. However, this is going to be Barrios' first taste of like the main event, pay-per-view headlining on a major card. Like, he's fought on the undercard of Spence and Porter, and he fought on the undercard of Davis and Santa Cruz. So he has pay-per-view experience, but he doesn't have that main event, I'm the headliner, I'm the focus point experience. And that shows that can be a factor as well. We don't know how that's going to play into it, because Davis has that already. He's been main eventing. He's been the headliner of a pay-per-view. He is under the tutelage of one of the best to ever do it in Floyd Mayweather, who can give him the nuggets of it, but he can't give him that, he can't give him the full taste of it, because you got to experience it for yourself, which he has. So Davis has that to his advantage. I think he also has the faster hands, and that's going to play a part, because both of these guys, while they do have good defense, they are hittable. Like I said, Barrios can slide in and out. He can also pivot, and he can punch off of those pivots. However, if you engage him in an exchange, you can hit him. Same thing with Davis. He has shown that he can be hit. He was swollen up against Santa Cruz. Gamboa was able to land on him. Several guys have been able to land on him. Pedraza was able to land on him a little bit. However, his power was always trumping the other guy being able to land on him. Also, because he punches straighter, faster, and with more power, his shots leave more of an impression with the judges. But neither Rob nor I are expecting this one to go the distance. I think we will get past the middle rounds. So Rob said 9 rounds where Davis gets the stoppage. And I definitely can see that. So one of the things that we were looking at to come to that conclusion was Barrios' fight against Batir Akhmedov. I probably butchered that name. I'm sorry, sir. But Akhmedov was a southpaw, had a, I guess you could say it was a glossy record. He was like 7-0 with 6 knockouts. But in that fight, as the rounds wore on, Akhmedov was able to land lots of leather on Barrios. Early on in the fight, Barrios was turning him, landing sharp counters, sharp combinations, and he was stuck in mud for the first half of that fight. Davis, on the other hand, is much faster and much more explosive and should be able to get to his target a lot easier than Akhmedov was able to. So I think that's where a lot of people are seeing Davis's advantages in this fight. From what I read online, people were saying they thought Akhmedov won. I don't see that. I think Barrios definitely clearly won the fight with 2 knockdowns, and I think he swept like the first 6 rounds, so that plus 2 knockdowns. But he got some leather put on him in that fight. But he showed a chin, and he showed grit, and he showed the mettle to be able to listen to his corner and implement a game plan in order to come out with a victory. That is very important when you're in a high-level, high-profile fight. So he has the promise. However, I don't think he will be able to survive the onslaught. We haven't really seen Davis hurt by anything clean. He's been hit, but he hasn't really shown it, any danger of being hurt or any, being close to being knocked down or anything like that. However, we may see that on Saturday because, like I said, Barrios is sharp, Barrios is powerful, and Barrios has the size advantage. So there could be a moment where he hurts Davis. Then we get to see Davis go through some adversity. He had a pretty tough fight with Leo Santa Cruz, but at the same time, he was landing pretty much at will when he fought him. So it wasn't like he was being frustrated on top of being hit. That's going to be big for Barrios. He's going to have to frustrate Davis early, earn his respect by hitting him with those sharp counters, keeping him at bay, and making Davis miss often. And if he can do that, he has an opportunity to possibly make Davis rush something and be walked into a counter shot and be hurt and put down. Like I said, both of these guys have top-notch corners, and both coaches are going to be telling their charge to look out for those type of things. Whether or not they listen in the heat of battle is a whole nother thing. And that's what we watch the fights for. So we're picking Davis by a late round stoppage, 9 through 11. If it does go the distance, we're going to be looking at a fight of the year contender because both guys are going to be landing some heavy leather and there are going to be some very good exchanges in this fight. Let me know what you all think. Hit me up in the comment section. Let me know who you think is going to win, how you think they're going to win, and what tactics you think will play the difference in this fight. Also, I want to shout out my brother Jamel of Custom Madness. I don't know if y'all can see that. That's his logo there, who made this Capital Combat shirt for us. We will probably start selling these, but we want to get a few more subscribers before we do. So if you haven't hit the subscribe button, go ahead and do that. And like I said, comment here. Let us know what you think. Hit us up on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Capital Combat. Watch the fight and check out the recap. So do all those things. Watch Rob's video on the Lomachenko fight. And we'll see you in the next video. Until then, fight on.
Round one and you've already lost. They don't seem to see that everything we've done is coming and cost. My fists are on fire. I perform till I perspire. My demons are in a rage. Keep thinking that it's a game. I kick rhyme, hurricane. I told them I don't play. I'm liquid.
The Black Street Fighter.